It can't be good for TradeStation. I forget what their symbol is. Is that private? All right. So let's see where the markets are at here. Looks like they're up a little bit. And you know what we've been talking about? I don't know if I started talking about it last week. Anyway, I know we talked about it yesterday. Let's just stick this down here. The potential for this to be making a bottom. And as this was coming down, we talked about the weekly chart being in an uptrend. Let me just move this over here a little bit. The strong move up and this pullback, which is really shallow, right? So this is a tricky pattern. Not like this market hasn't been tricky all along, but what I was explaining was this, these probes to the downside, and then this one, that's a big probe in the bottoming tail, which tells us buyers are stepping up. And what we look at when we look at multiple time frames is bottoming action, in the appropriate location. In this case, it's at minor support. Right? What was high, prior resistance broke out, technical analysis 101. And this action down here, as we could see, remember last week it started with the W bottom and it rallied and came back down, and then big dip down, and this shakeout, kind of a messy shakeout pattern. And you can see the little shakeout inside the shakeout, and why we've been calling this a schizoid market, because there's so much uncertainty. It just, schizophrenic, it's diving, it's rallying back up like it's going to go higher. And so now where it's at this resistance area, we could see it's backed off here a little bit. And so the process goes, and we see now that this has formed, as we always do. Let me just clear this for a moment. Yeah. We start each day with the prior day's low as support and the prior day's high as resistance. So it's taken out the prior day's high, and now the next resistance is right there in its face. And so when we see that, our expectation is, well, there's several here. And so the more things that are coming together in one place, the more difficult it is, the probability of being more difficult to accelerate in one direction. In any event, when your reference points are close together, like yesterday's high, and now we've got this high right there, it's likely to be choppy. So as buyers attack these levels, so to speak, and here they pull back and this bottoming action is going on, theoretically, it's setting up to take off to the upside. Again, buyers step up on the dip. As it hits these resistance areas, it gets knocked back down. And this back and forth that we see on the hourly chart is, the battles that it's going on. And as that battle goes on, time moves on, and you get further away from areas like this, which in theory says we should get through that with maybe some hesitation. But because of all of this chop that's going on here, right, we make an assumption. And we have to make some assumptions, right? Every time we press the button, we make assumptions that, if this pattern historically produces something else, right? So is this a quality pattern? I would say no, it's not, because you've got this high that's really close by, and this action here that's bottoming out is close by. So at some point, this consolidation, this chopping around has to resolve itself one way or another, or we're all going to be doing something else to make a living. And because this is going to be chopping around and nobody's going to want to do anything anymore. But, this isn't going to last forever. So what I don't like, and as we condense the data, is this pullback is so shallow that, okay, let's say that this starts to rally. Well, this high is right there, right? Just like, we're looking at this little micro thing getting above yesterday's high, and the next level is right there. Well, this resistance is right there. So we don't have far to go before it hits another wall. And we have to look at this from day trading, very short-term perspective. Now, that all being said, there are other things out there, and a lot of times it's the ones that bring up the rear that are going to be better. So looking at the Russell, this is potentially a breakdown bar failure, right? Where it broke down under the lows, and yesterday was an inside bar. And if this can clear this high, this is going to set up a tradable event here, which I think is better than, going to what was the leader, the ES or the spiders, to go up. And this IJ, was it IJH? Yeah, this looks even better, the mid caps, where you see it just peekabooed under the low there. And yesterday was the inside day. So if it can clear, right, that high, yeah, it's going to have to deal with this. However, the strong move up, the pullback, the red, green, yada, yada, back and forth, and clearing that, the theory is that it's going to push up above these highs. And so we purchase, we put a stop below here, share size it accordingly, and then wait for whatever is going to jiggle around or take off from there to unfold, because we don't know how it's going to happen. But the stop down there should not be taken out. And ideally, something like this, if it, starts to go, it'll hold that level. So what I'm saying is it clears this high, and any jiggles on pullbacks, should hold, theoretically, in this level, but share size it down here just in case Mr. Schizo has some wild ride in for us. So there's an idea that we're looking at. We're looking at a few others in the ETF letter on the long side. So we'll see if this can take off. And so if it does, maybe it's going to come back in. It depends on how it happens, but you can purchase half position, pulls back, get a buy setup, add to it, or whatever your plan is. So just like many things, we have a trading range going on, and why this should break out and push up to new highs and the markets go up with all this BS going on with impeachment and China and this and that, I have no idea. But I've been doing this long enough to know that don't think about the news too much and just go with what the chart is saying at the moment, and the news will follow eventually. That's historically what it does. But anyway, this is one of the better looking things that looked like it could go. Just looking at the futures here, there's S&Ps, right? That same story, what we was talking about, and not far to go before it hits some resistance. The NQs, that came down a little harder, a little lagging. It's up against resistance right here. But you can see the pullback on the weekly after the strong move up. So the charts, they look okay. They're not great, but, they look okay. The news can play havoc if something else comes out. But that's the unknown. So we just have to go it is, or you just don't trade this, right? That's an option of doing nothing is one. Not to do that because, again, we could look at individual stocks that look better than the broader markets do. But as far as the broader markets go, this is looking a bit tighter, right? This is the Dow Mini, and it's got room to run. So that looks better. then the S&P, and IBM had a really nice day yesterday. I didn't look through any of the others, but so maybe the Dow is the one that can lead the way, and the ES and the Qs will probably do something, but they're not as attractive a pattern. The Russell here, as I said, the breakdown failure pattern, which is beginning to shape up. And so a breakdown failure is just like this. Sometimes it's 2 bars. Here we have 3. It breaks the low. This is detailed in the MTS course as to what to look for in the swing course, as to it having a minor bottoming tail and then an inside day, and then it takes out the high of the inside day, and that is a go. So what's going to happen when it hits here? It's going to stall and it's going to jiggle. But if the buyers are going to keep coming, because this is a shock pattern, all right, we know that traders shorted this, and now they are sweating a bit. Now, if this rolls back over and goes back down here, well, good for them. But right now, they are in a little bit of a touchy situation, whereas recognizing that this breakdown possibly is going to fail. And if it takes out the high, some of them are going to start to cover, and that has a tendency to feed on itself. So something that we'll be looking for. Oil all the way back down to the bottom of the range after, the Saudi news, and back down again, wide range bar. See if it stabilizes or if it holds. If not, I guess it goes back down here, but we'll see. This is where buyers should want to step up and at least see what happens over a little while. Well, Robert, I agree with some of what you're saying, in that Trump can't inflate the market with just words. That's not possible. I mean, in the moment, yes, he can say something that could jiggle the market for a day, for a few hours, but in the long term, in no way possible can someone jiggle the market for very long. I mean, for months. Now, brokers and the Fed doing what it's doing, brokers now reducing commissions to nothing. The only reason Schwab and Fidelity are doing that is because competition is squeezing their throats. And who's going to be the last man standing to suck up what's left? And this is what's been going on in the industry for a long, long time. So we'll see how that all unfolds. But all of this, I mean, is Trump doing this to win an election? Well, he wants things to be good, but look at George W. years ago, dropping interest rates, and he wanted to win an election, but it just couldn't make the turn in time. And then the read my lips thing was a killer for him. Anyway, we'll see what happens. We just follow the tea leaves here. You have free commissions at Chase Broker. Do they take a percentage of your account, Howard? Do they allow you to bid and offer? Because yes. So that is something, because if you can place bids and offers and, place trades, to make a market, meaning to split the bid and the offer and do all of that, they just have to be making money selling the order flow to somewhere. So, I mean, we talked about this, as I said, 25 years ago, that it was coming. So it seems that it's on the way, but we all know there's no real free lunch. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, bonds are pulling back here, right? We talked about this should be happening in this area, and it's taken multiple days, and now we got a wider bar to the downside where it's broken through this support. It's got room to go down. We'll see how far. The markets are going to like that because interest rates are going to move up. And so as you can see, TBT is up here and looks like 25 bucks, gapping above that red bar. That's a good sign of a turn right there. You know, it's in a downtrend, but it's trying to make the turn, and that's going to alleviate those recession fears if interest rates will start to move up. Now, we'll see if it holds on to that. Well, Forex brokers are not free, Fabio. That's a fraud over there, because you cannot bid an offer and you cannot split that. They trade against your trades. They take the other side, right? So you have to pay the spread over at Forex. Trading the futures is a much more honest market. Let's say honest market. Pay your commission, bid, offer, do what you want. Gold breaking down. So another decent sign for the market, since it's been moving inverse. And we see, right, the euro, how much longer to parity? Right, bottoming tail. It's coming down again, and downtrend there. Head and shoulders on gold. Look how close it got there. Well, yeah. Head and shoulders on gold. You know, but daily chart, and now the breakdown. So that the theory with that is, as it goes, if you so believe it. I mean, I have seen it play out. Just kind of eyeballing that would be to kind of take that and go like this, and kind of put you down into the same place you would think it would go anyway. And that, you know, pulling back to that area, 1430-ish, 1430-ish, give or take, somewhere in here, would be where you would want to buy this on a weekly time frame in this area of support. So we'll see. And as you all know, you should know, we covered this some time ago when it started to break out, because this was really bullish. So something that we'll see how this pulls back. We keep an eye on the dollar, because that has an effect. And so we'll see. This looks like it'll go down there. So for day traders, it's probably a good market to go to short intraday. If you can trade the micros or these. Silver, we're already at support, so that makes it a little tricky. You know, that didn't quite break out like it did, so maybe this will go through it, but I'd keep an eye on that level in silver to see if this begins to hold, whether it has an effect on gold. And lastly, I'm going to look at the transports here, what you're holding here, and what we want to see. You know, this is a sideways, you know, mess, of course, but if the markets are going to turn up here, I want to see the transports take out yesterday's high, or at least move up into that and hold on to it. So we'll see if that's what plays out. So, well, you know, from my perspective, I'm always looking at, you know, the other markets to see where they're at in relation to their support and resistance, and because it's going to have effect in other markets. And if you're trading individual stocks, like that shop that we traded yesterday, you know, it was looking great. And I think it's actually up this morning, you know, but as it pushed up yesterday, and then it stalled and started jiggling around because the markets hit their resistance, and, you know, the buyers just backed off. So it was a nice play on the shorter time frame from yesterday, wherever it is. I don't have time for that now. Anyway, so we'll see if something like this can take out these highs. That could be a decent day trade play, or even possibly a swing for a couple of days. But we'll see how this all unfolds. It's mostly green here this morning, as you can see, and what's active down here. Interesting, McDonald's is down. So we'll see what today brings. All yours, Dan.
All right, good morning, thanks. Yeah, we had that chop as a put spread in the letter, but it didn't get the target that we wanted. We had a lot of nice weeklies in the letter. I had Apple in there yesterday, but we weren't getting anywhere near our credit. I had Intel. Look, Intel looks like it could be a long-term opportunity right here. I love this 180 reversal followed by a 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's keep that on our list. Xilinx is down. We are short that, so let's go ahead and move the stop tighter break even or 30-minute high. IBM's the only open in the weekly options, so we need some more love over there. And I think once the market decides to break out, we'll get plenty of them. Let me look at gappers first before going through the swing positions. Yeah, Kramer was talking about McDonald's and some of the food stocks competitors, so I was looking at those too. Pizza here's kind of, it's a bottoming pattern, daily, weekly, monthly. That's worth a watch for a put spread. Kramer said he likes Chipotle, thinks it can go to 1,000. McDonald's, yep, bear gap, but no pattern. Kramer also likes Yum, but no pattern. Greg's dog Spot got an upgrade here, 117. It's in a nasty downtrend, but you know, maybe 30-minute high put spread. This one got an upgrade, but I like this one substantially better. 20 MA's flattened out. You got bullish consolidation after this big run off the low, gapping up to 154. So I put him in the upper right here. That's a good gapping play, both for equity and put spread. MKC had earnings 159.60, gapping to no man's land. Yeah, I just saw all these things on the ticker this morning. I'm like, wow, all these discount brokers are getting slammed. And Greg talked about that, gapping down here. So these, you know, once they set up, that's a nice bottoming pattern right there. I'm going to put that. W bottom, that's a good one for today's session. MT Live, Ameritrade, this one's getting hurt the worst pre-market. Look at that. Just getting slammed, 38 bucks. It looks like, you know what, Pat, I think was, yeah, this day, Pat's the one that said she thought IB was coming out with free commissions, and that's where the brokerages went into a tantrum intraday. ETFC getting killed here, 36 bucks. Wow. Let's just watch one of them. But Schwab, well, Schwab is the one that announced the news. That one's actually holding up better. Let me watch that one. Because, you know, volatility is going to go through the roof here. Bots here, a little bottoming pattern, and, you know, looking good. WGO, McGraw sent me, put spread watch. X was down this morning. I had him as a bear gap. Look at that, recovered it. And that's a sign of strength. TW still in a downtrend. Recent IPO. No love there. Zoom Z. McGraw asked me about. Nice bar. So, you know, it's retracing. Well, there's our event. Boom. TLT, I like this. 30-minute low is a short or call spread. McDonald's we looked at. We're going to be talking about some of these IPOs in MT Live here today. But this is at all-time lows. 2-bar reversal, still in a downtrend. I have no idea. YouTube's asking about Ulta. Yeah, some folks in the green trading room have been in this for a while. And there's your igniting bar from a higher low right there. Then it was a 3-bar consolidation. So I know Alex and McGraw and a few others have been in it since this bar also, or adding. It's breaking out, you know, beautiful 15-minute chart right now. So you're just getting on board a moving train. then you just got to pick your stop, whether it's a day or swing trade, but it still looks higher. You know, actually on a related note, I had a subscriber email me this pattern saying, hey, Dan, would it be a great put spread over this bar's high as a breakout? And I said, absolutely not. Your entry is exactly what I just reviewed with you. Your best entry was this bar right there on 923, and then you add on 927. There's no need to wait for it to take that out after this multi-week bottoming pattern, and then we're using the individual candlesticks to tell us when to get in. Ping, another IPO here. We'll watch, little, you know, 2-bar reversal there. This was one I was watching yesterday, possibly as a core trade, as a bottoming pattern on multiple time frames. You know, it has earnings this week is a problem. A subscriber asked me about Romeo Hotel as a put spread over the highs. I said, yeah, it's fine. Only concern is weekly's kind of extended. McGraw was watching some of those Chinese stocks. This is a big mess. These are yesterday's now, though. I'm just house cleaning here. KNX over those highs. That's not bad. Trex did not. Oh, Trex did trigger yesterday. All right, so we're long Trex as a breakout, daily, weekly, monthly. SNX, it's far from the 20, but it's holding like a tank. Weekly, monthly broke out. Goldman is pulling in here. Gold, it's still on a short watch. AAL is beautiful under the lows, under last week's low, looks fantastic. SDC, another recent IPO. This would be an ideal one if it sets up a W bottom, then that would be perfect. Zoom, that's still in a downtrend. Yeah, I'm going to show you a bunch of these in our course today, MT Live. This one, it has to get over this red bar here, over 106.90 to interest me, because otherwise I don't have a reliable turn. Beyond is just a range bound, so that actually could be a Iron Condor candidate. Shop, there's the bill. Shop I like, put spread over yesterday's high. I love this 2-bar reversal and support. Yeah, Robert, today's Tuesday, correct? Qs, wow, what a mess. I like diamonds the best for a swing over these bars, because then it has, it's you know, many day reversal here, then it broke out. ABMD, we're short. I'm going to go through the opens here really quick. DK, long stock, it's in a coma. EIX put spread. EXTR, long stock, it's in a coma. FSS, long stock, looks good. GPI, long stock, looks fantastic. Hess, we're long stocks via short puts. HFC, long stock, looks great, daily, weekly, monthly. IBM, we have 2 positions. We have a covered call and a put spread. Looks great. ITB, we have a put spread, and in our ETF trader, we're long it. LII, we're short, and it's not going anywhere. It looks like it might trail stop.